Hey guys, Dwayne here. I either did a good deed yesterday or I helped a kid steal a bike. So here's what happened. About 7 p.m. last night, I was sitting here at my desk. There's a window. That way. Right in front of me there's a window. Okay. I see a guy with a bike helmet walk past the window. And I thought, that's odd. So I get up and I go look. And there's a broken bike in front of my house, laying in the street. Okay? And this guy with the bike helmet is walking up my driveway. And then he changes his mind and he turns around and he walks back and he goes that way. He's like walking away from his bike. I thought, that's weird. Then he gets, I don't know, 20 yards, and he changes his mind again, and he turns around and he comes back. So I go outside, and as soon as he sees me, he said, "Hey man, can I get your Wi-Fi password so I can call my parents to come and get me?" And I'm like, my Wi-Fi password so you can make a phone call. I've never heard of that before. I mean, maybe that's legit, but I'm not giving this kid my Wi-Fi password. And then he starts rambling, blah, 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 blah. He said his bike broke, and could I help him fix it? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I look at the damage. The handlebars are attached to the head stem, and that has broken off. Like, geez, how did you do that? And he said it just broke off while I was writing. Okay, that's possible. He said he's had this bike for 3 months, and this is the first time he rode it. Really? He said he knocked on several doors, but nobody answered. And I'm like, I didn't see him knock on any doors. But I told him, yeah, they probably thought you were selling something, so they didn't answer. He said, well, one person answered, but their parents weren't home, so they couldn't help me. Okay. He said he just moved here 3 weeks ago, and I said, well, where do you live? And he acts like he's thinking really hard. Like, he doesn't remember his address. But he points down the street. He goes, down there. And I'm like, okay, well, we can't fix this bike. It needs new parts. Why don't I put it in my car and I will take you home? And he said, okay, cool. And he said he went out for a 30-minute ride, but he's getting home 6 hours later. Okay? It was 100 degrees at 7 p.m. It was a very, very hot day. He did not look like he's been out in the heat for 6 hours. Okay? So I went inside, got the car keys, came back out, opened the lid of the car, and he said, will you put the bike in the car because I don't want to do any damage? And I thought, okay, that seems legit. But now, thinking about it, I realize that my fingerprints are all over that bike. Okay? So Driving toward his house, he tells me that he will be 18 in 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, cool. Tell your parents you need a new bike and a new phone for your birthday. He also said, then I told him this bike shouldn't have broken like this. It looks new. You should take it back to Walmart and get your money back. And he said, oh, well, I've had it for 3 months, and it was only a $98 bike. Well, I looked it up, and no, it's not a $98 bike. He also said something weird. He said, it's a $98 bike, but if I part it out, I could get $500 for the parts. So I might part it out. Yeah, that's not true, but yeah, that's what you would do if you stole a bike. Okay. Then he said, well, we drove past his street, and he said, I think we need to go that way. Sorry, man. I'm like, okay, no worries. I said, you're new around here. Neither one of us knows where we're going. Okay, so made a U-turn, went back, went down the street. And he said, turn left here and turn right here. Okay. Then he says, if you wouldn't mind, don't drop me off in front of my house. Drop me off down the street, because technically I'm hitchhiking. And my parents have a problem with hitchhikers. Okay, you know, maybe that's legit. If his parents are really strict, they don't want him getting in a car with a stranger. You know, stranger danger. But he's damn near 18 years old. And his bike broke, and somebody brought him home. I really don't think his parents would have a problem with that. But, yeah, thinking back on it, I'm 100% sure he didn't want me to know where he lived. Okay. Alright, that's fine. I don't care where he lives. I'm just putting the pieces together. Okay. So, there's a park near his house, so I parked at the park, took the bike out of the car, handed it to him, and as he's walking away and I'm getting back in the car, he said something, and I didn't understand what he said. And so I stopped and I looked at him, and he said it again, and I'm like, and then he said it louder. He said, bike guitar. And he's like holding the bike and he's like strumming it like it's a guitar. And I'm like, alright. And he walks down the street carrying his bike, his broken bike. Okay. So what do y'all think? Was that just weird? How much of what he said was true, and did I get scammed? Did I help this kid steal this bike? I don't know. If the police show up, I'll tell them the same story. Have a great day. Peace out.